Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Edgeverse TechCast. Again, this is your go-to source for everything NXP software, tools, and enablement, all made for our NXP processors and microcontrollers. I'm one of your hosts, Kyle Dando, and today we're diving into a topic that's on everybody's radar.
And I'm Bridgette Stone, your other co-host. Today we're exploring the Cyber Resilience Act, what it means, why it matters, and how it's going to impact nearly every product with a digital component, especially for our customers. We're lucky to have Sabina Bruce to get some answers to questions most of our listeners will have. Welcome, Sabina.
Hi, thank you, Kyle and Bridgette. So my name's Sabina. I'm part of the systems engineering team here at NXP. I've been with the company for about 6 years and support our microcontroller families. I'm mainly focused on security, but do support them in general. And lately been focusing more on the MCX and some of our wireless MCUs.
Well, thanks for being here. We're going to jump right in. The Cyber Resilience Act, or CRA, is a new law in the European Union set for full enforcement in 2027. It covers any product sold in Europe that contains a digital component, which is almost everything except maybe beer and chocolate. So this will impact nearly all NXP customers, right?
Right. Basically, all NXP products have digital components, whether it's like hardware products or if you're using our software tools, our customers will need to comply with the requirements outlined in the CRA if they intend to sell in the European market.
Can you give us a quick overview of what the CRA is all about? What are the main requirements for product security from out of the box to end of life?
Yeah. So the CRA is all about ensuring the digital products are secure throughout the entire life cycle. So we're talking from the moment they're designed to their end of life and disposal. Security must be at the forefront of that. And so this means that manufacturers and developers must guarantee a high level of security, address vulnerabilities, and provide updates as needed. So the goal is to protect users and data at every stage, not just at the launch, but all the way through to when the product is retired.
Okay, Sabina, try to help me understand. The laws can be pretty complex. We need to make sure our listeners understand what is being imposed, what are these laws being put in place to help prevent. What exactly do companies need to protect against, and what must their products do to comply to these new laws?
Yeah, so that's a great question. The Cyber Resilience Act is designed to make things clear and safer for everyone. There are three main pillars. There are more components to it, but I find that the top three important ones, at least for me, is harmonized standardization. This means that we have one set of rules within the European Union that everybody can follow. So companies don't have to pick and choose which countries they're going to go for. So it just makes it easier for everybody. The second one would be security. So every product must meet strict security requirements to protect against cyber attacks and data breaches. And security isn't optional in this case, so it's required for all digital products. And the last one would be transparency. So companies need to be open about their security features and must also disclose any known vulnerabilities, or if anything were to happen in the future, they will also need to disclose that in a timely manner. So this helps to build trust and ensures that users know what protections are in place.
So in short, what you're saying is that the CRA is about making sure that all the products follow the same rules, the products come out that are safe and secure, and that everyone's transparent about the risks that the products might potentially have for the consumers.
Yes.
Excellent.
And the CRA has different product categories. Can you walk us through what these categories mean and give us an example of each?
Yeah, so the Cyber Resilience Act basically groups different categories for all the products that might be out in the market. There's four main categories based on their security needs and potential risks. Within these four, we have the default or the non-critical products. So these products would have little or no security functionality. Think of something like a Bluetooth printer or other smart home devices without security functionality, like maybe a coffee machine that you might have in your home. They don't have sensitive data or critical operations. Then we go into important class 1. This includes devices like smart locks, baby monitors, or wearables. Think of smart home devices, but have a little bit more security functionality. They might handle more sensitive information and their requirements are a little bit more strict. Then we go into important class 2. These would be products that have tamper resistance microcontrollers in them that are used for firewalls or hypervisors. These devices often store or process personal or confidential data, so they even have higher security standards. And then lastly, we have the critical category, and this covers infrastructure and secure elements, things like smart cards, smart meter gateways, secure elements, or hardware devices with security boxes. This product category has the highest risk as it could impact the safety and security of large infrastructures.
So understanding which product category applies to your product is crucial, as this will determine the type of assessment it needs to undergo, as well as the additional time and effort required to bring new CRA compliant products to market successfully.
Right.
Okay, Sabina. I used to work on some products that had RF requirements, and there were a lot of testing and labs to make sure that we weren't radiating RF noise. We had some other testing for power levels to get UL certification. We need to make sure the product wouldn't catch on fire. Now we're introducing these CRA regulations. So how are companies being asked to prove that they're compliant to these new regulations or requirements and stay out of legal trouble?
Yeah, so for the CRA, the good thing is that about 90% of products would most likely fall into the default category of products. For the default products, developers or manufacturers would actually only have to perform a self-assessment. So this is just a self-declaration that you align with the CRA and document that, and that's basically it. For the other ones, there are different things that you can also do. So for if you're in the important class 1 category, you can do the self-assessment, but in addition would have to comply with a harmonized standard or common specification or a European cybersecurity certification. And if you don't comply with any of those three, then you would do a self-assessment in addition to a third-party assessment. If you're in the important class 2, for these products, you would have to do a third-party assessment, but it doesn't matter if you comply with one of the 3 options I just mentioned. You could do either one, whatever the third party helps you with. And then lastly, for critical products, the third-party assessment is a requirement, but specifically you have to complete a European cybersecurity certification, so there's not really an option here. These products are vital to infrastructure or security, so self-assessments isn't enough for this because the risks are too high.
So the higher the risk, the more rigorous the compliance process is. The CRA is designed to ensure that products with greater potential impact on security get the most thorough review. So beyond just meeting the technical requirements, are there other things developers need to do when launching new products in Europe?
Yeah, there are a few additional steps, and this is all outlined within the CRA. To get your CE marking, which is what would represent you being compliant with the CRA, developers, manufacturers, distributors, whoever is doing this need to actually provide thorough technical documentation and user guides. So it means you need to clearly document how your product meets the CRA requirements, how it's going to be used securely, and making sure all the necessary information is available for both regulators and the end users. So it's not just about building a secure product, but also proving it and helping users understand how to use it safely.
Now let's talk about some of the solutions that are out there, specifically NXP. How do the NXP family of microcontrollers, especially the MCXN family, help customers meet these CRA requirements?
With NXP, we offer a range of microcontrollers that are designed with different levels of security to help meet our customers' needs in terms of their product or their application. So within the MCX series, for example, we have a range of products from the lower end, which would be the MCXC series. These are like basic microcontrollers with little to no built-in security feature, and these would be suitable for products within the lower risk categories where security requirements would be minimal. For this one, the self-assessment would be sufficient, and we would provide those guidelines for you. For the MCXN, which is on the other side of the spectrum, this is where security might be a top priority for your product. The MCXN series is designed for products that fall into important or critical categories. These have advanced security features like secure boot, hardware cryptography, secure key storage, among many other features. We would help you meet those requirements by providing everything that we do at NXP to show conformity with the CRA, because we also have to do that. For the MCXN, we have an application note that does an apples to apples comparison of the features we have, not only with the product itself, the MCXN, but how we design with security in mind at NXP, and then how that correlates directly with the CRA requirements and what you need to demonstrate on your end with your product.
Sabina, I've seen that application note. It's called Ease CRA Compliance with whichever product that the customer's looking for. The details in the app note, like you said, it's very specific. It'll go through all the CRA regulations. It'll give a description of what compliance is required, and then it'll talk about the product itself and what the customer has to do. So it is very helpful, but probably a little bit too much for this episode. We'll put that URL in the episode notes so that everybody can read it on their own time. You know what? If we get a lot of questions, maybe we can have you back on for a deeper discussion on these specific topics.
Yeah, sounds good.
That wraps up our deep dive into the Cyber Resilience Act. We covered what it is, why it matters, and how NXP is helping customers stay ahead. Thanks so much for joining us today, Sabina.
Thank you for having me on the show.
All right, Sabina, you did a great job. For all of our listeners, if you enjoyed this conversation with Sabina, don't forget to like it, subscribe, tell all of your friends that you heard the best security CRA conversation ever. Turn on your notifications so that you don't miss our next episode. And if there's a topic that you'd like us to cover, or you have some questions from the application note, let us know.
Until next time, keep innovating, and we'll catch you on the next Edgeverse TechCast.